Eden, you're the only non-hairdresser that's up here, and we respect you as a non-hairdresser. Please know that.
Thank you.
But I want to talk to you a little bit about, because of the influence of your father and growing around the industry, what do you feel needs to change in this industry? From your perspective, what do you feel needs to change?
You know, growing up the way that I did in a salon every day after school, which I don't know why. Actually, I do. And being with women like this and who have lived healthy, hearty lives with experience, and seeing some of the youth come in today. So that's a big gap in between. And I see, and it hurts me sometimes to watch, because I saw a man who did it all, and not by luck, by sheer will, determination, and dedication. Every day that man woke up and exercised, no matter what. Every day he took care of his body, because his body, what was going to make him through that, 15 to 18-hour day. Every day he had the kind heart to sit and talk and communicate and be open with others. Every day he did what it took to be the best at what he chose. Once again, he chose what he wanted to do. And I'm finding that young kids are sort of getting lost within social media, which is great. I'm a big social media woman, but I always give a message. I try to be inspiring. I try to lead a way to where you're going to find some sort of peace or light or inspiration at the end of what it is I'm talking about. So whether you're a hairdresser or not, and he said that, it's how do we treat our physical bodies? Because what we eat is who we are. How we exercise is what you're going to give out. The energy you create within, exactly that drum beat, that music, that you get fed, you've got to feed yourself. You've got to wake up knowing that this is your temple, and that's what you pay forward to others. So I would love to see more dedication to self, and then create your art. Because if you really, truly look within and create more within yourself, how much more are you going to be able to give to others? And that, to me, is everything, is it.
Thank you for that, Eden. Thank you for that. Tracey, I noticed in your video you talked about change. You said, let's chat about change. And I think a lot of people are fearful to change. Like, if you look at this audience, I'm sure there's a lot of ladies, maybe gentlemen that are out there that want to be where you're sitting. They want to be here up on this stage. But I'm just really interested in terms of this change and personal fear. If you could give these people any particular advice in terms of change and fear to overcome, how would you do that? What would you say?
I do believe that change is inevitable in life, and it's one of the things that can tend to hold all of us back. I'm sure many of you would agree. Embracing change, sometimes life can throw curveballs at you that you're least expecting. And especially when you're in a position like we are of leadership, as Candy spoke about before, and of giving, as Eden speaking about, etc. You're in a position where you're giving to people. A lot of the time, it's hard to see that true authenticity, like we see in Sonya as well today. And things can happen that you just don't expect. Like, if you can take a moment, I'll share a very small story with you. I established my salons in Australia, and I had them for 18 years. And I was very proud of my brand. It was my baby. I didn't have, a family. I went to Australia on my own. And I built these salons, and I'm very proud to say they won Salon of the Year 10 times. And it was very successful from a profitable perspective. But I actually lost my business just 3 years ago. And I have to say that was probably one of the most hardest, challenging things I've gone through on a professional level. And it literally pulled the rug underneath me, and I felt like my soul had left me for a little while. And it was hard to stay focused because I was still traveling around the world doing all the education as well. And, we talk about social media. A lot of the time that can be an illusion. It's not always what reality is as well as a lot of the time. It's a perception, exactly, Andy. And, I say 3 years ago, I had a major curveball that made me make that decision to actually migrate twice, in my life and move here to the States. And one of the reasons why was because I had such a beautiful industry family over here, that I'd spent so much time here, that I decided to move. And I
I
think
met you on social media,
we did.
and we actually met in the hallways of a show.
Exactly.
And hugged necks for the first time, but had known each other for 2 years.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. And, you know, this is the thing that keeps us going in our industry is we talk so much about relationships and people and the connections. You know, guys, really the thing is embrace change. Don't be scared of it. You know, if I can get just personal for a moment, I mean, one of the biggest personal fears I have, and I actually don't talk about this much at all, is I was 12 years old when I had my first epileptic seizure. And I've learned to live with epilepsy my whole life purely because it makes me stronger. Because every time I have a seizure, you know, I'll probably get emotional because my husband's sitting here, he knows what I go through. I wake up after that seizure and think, is life worth living anymore? Because it's such a difficult thing to go through. And my fear is standing on a stage in front of thousands of people like yourselves and having a seizure. And my other fear is being on an airplane in a confined space, having a seizure. But I have the attitude that I'm not just going to face my fears, I'm going to live my fears. So I'm on a stage pretty much every week presenting. I'm on a plane every week in a confined space. And I overcome that fear. And I just kind of think perhaps if I had a seizure now, for example, you'd probably just think it's a new dance. Starting a new dance trend. You'd hang it out with Sonya dancing.
Thank you for sharing that, Tracey.
Brilliant.
Lastly, I'm going to give you all one, you know, if there's something candy that you could leave the audience with and have them walk away. Because I want to go back to this, my friends. These people, some of these people want to be where you're at. If there's anything candy you could leave them with, what would it be?
To just follow your heart and give it from love. You know, just do it for the right reasons. You know, if your gut tells you don't, then don't. Some of the best decisions I ever made were the ones I didn't. You know, some of the things that I said no to and didn't take. So I would say if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to start a company, if you want to have a salon, if you want to be an educator, just go with your gut and give it with love. And if you do, it will come to you. It will.
Thank
Can
you
I
for
say
sharing that,
one
Katie.
thing really
Please,
quickly?
Please,
I
Fidel.
think gratitude is a huge word that we all should wake up, or I do every day.
Gratitude, absolutely.
And really say to ourselves and do your little gratitude list and check in because around the world right now what's going on in London, and I have to say, and it's horrifying, and we are blessed to be here together and just talking and looking and sharing. And so let's be grateful for where we are and where we can go.
Thank you for that, Eden.
Yeah.
Sonya, one last message that you would love to leave with the audience.
It's a little bit tagging on to what the other ladies have said, is be kind to yourself. I have to sort of remember to do this now and again.
Good for you.
Because it's hard.
Yeah.
Good for you, Sonya. The world needs more gratitude, doesn't it?
Attitude
Jenny.
of gratitude.
Gratitude.
Your lasting message for our audience.
I just want to tell everyone that they just need to believe in themselves. I know you guys don't know my full story, but I really came from nothing, and I believed in myself through the 15 years of doing hair. I also always think of myself in second place. You never want to be first place. I'm always going to continue to grow, and I think it would be silly if I were to be up here and say that I've learned it all. I have not. But I think really for some reason, I'm just constantly pushing myself and I believe in myself. I try to be a positive role model for my daughter who, you know, being a female in the industry, a female in general can be difficult. So, you know, I just think that women in general just need to believe in themselves and know that they are enough. And men, but women really need to believe in themselves because you guys are enough. So.
Good for you, Jenny.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
Eden, one last message from you, my dear, in terms of a lasting message for our audience.
You know, you said we are enough, and Sonya, you have to pat yourself on the back. And every message that's been here, it's hard. You know, we all have a story, we all have lives, and every day it's like, okay, God grant me the serenity. I can do this. And what is your why? You know, I know my why every day is to get out there and make a difference. And yes, my children, and one day they'll go do. But what is my why? Who am I touching today? Who am I impacting today? What's going to be that difference of tonight I'll go to sleep? I lived my why. It's just very simple.
Thank you for that. Round of applause for our ladies, please.